Hi sai Today we're going to continue on our journey. Last time we were working on the present continuous, and this time we're going to work on the past and past continuous. Okay. Hopefully this lesson will be short. Who knows? We're on the sixth lesson, and here's a quick overview from last time. If you remember, we can add for the Ihea dialect of Kunigami language. You can either just the T1 form with the adjunct verb at the end, or you can also just immediately skip part, just immediately go to the second way of doing it. And then there's a lot of equivalents, but all of them with own. Okay. Now that the review is done, I'll just continue on. So past tense is for Okinawan is just change the own part to an an. There's no irregulars in this. Once you know the various types of irregular that exists in the continuous form, so the past and continuous always have the same consonant root. So, for example, if you have a let's say yumun, which is to read, has a mun, so that has an m. So you just say yuran for read, from read to read. Okay, and then for the Kunigami, you have either this does change a little bit, as you can see. You have chan or you ends at tan, so it's not h anymore. The regular first type does not change anything. It changes the on to an un, and that's about it. So this simple past tense is more like did, I read, I slept, I that kind of thing. So that's basically the simple past tense. Okay, so next we will go to a different past tense, this which only specifically exists in Kunigami language but does not exist in the Okinawan language. You have the regular form and you add the word the da in the middle, you just get a different form of the tense, which was more like I was just doing just did. Usually it is that you just witnessed it, but it can also be used in a more figurative way. So that's why you can also use it doesn't have to be a literal in the most literal sense. So for example, I have it on the screen here. It is Ihe dialect for ari in Okinawa, which means that, and then none is the previous simple past tense, which means when you have the top here, none, you just in the first one. Oh, so the first one is just simply the someone some drank that. So it doesn't really the someone would be dependent on the context, but we know it drank that. Um, pretty literally, it's more factual, like onto the point kind of thing. Oh, that was true. Whereas on the other hand, you have anin nunutang, which means someone just drank that, or someone was just drinking that kind of thing. It's like, oh, I saw it. It was more so of my perception or my belief or something like that. It's more of your sensing rather than state a literal fact. I guess this also exists in a couple of Germanic languages like Dutch and German. Anyways, that's off topic. Yes, you have anin nunan, which someone drank that, or anin nutang, which someone just drank that or was just drinking that. And then we also have the last one, which is the past continuous. So the past continuous is basically just when something was like already doing. Although for Okinawa, you don't necessarily have to be already for Hiragana. However, you do it. The past continuous always references the fact that someone was already doing, not was specifically was doing. Okay. Anyways, um, this is formed by having the past. Turn on the laser pointer again. You have the regular second present continuous form, and you add a in between the old and. And that's why I was in previous lessons I was specifically mentioning to recognize the because this here usually takes sense if it's sandwiched between like a verb and like usually at the end here. Also for adjectives too, you might have sarahata depending on the dialect of Okinawan, for example. But you also get the here. So the ta is a pretty good indicator that it is in fact going to be a past tense marker if it's a verb, for sure. Okay. So the only so otan for Kunigami as well as for Okinawan. So once you know the continuous terms, rest a little more easier. You just add the ta here. Of course, a lot of exceptions, especially Okinawan. For example, one major exception here, as you can see on the right, that then becomes sun and not tan, or it doesn't sun either. It's just sun here. And maybe I will or will not cover it later. If I don't know if we have time to do the negative taste, but we'll try. We'll try. We'll see how the rest of the course goes. Yeah. So mix and so have make a lot more simpler. I made this into more so of a diagram. So we have two verbs, nunun and chun. Sorry, my bad. Sorry, chun. And have un and we have un the un and an are cus. Yeah. So yeah. Anyways, so go through one by one. Um, we have nunun. Sorry, this is my native dialect, so I might butcher a little bit. Please don't mind me. I'm that because this is more of a comprehensive study of Kunigami and Okinawan as an optional subject. Anyways, we have nunum, which is to drink. We don't have the copula because it's definitely not copula here. Past form is nunan, nunun, nunutang, nunon, and nunotang. And I just want you repeat after me if you want for pronunciation practice. Is the word to open or achun. So the past tense is done and the present is achun. And then you have the past or just being that kind of done and continuous is aton and present continuous is aton. Slow my audio down if you need. Okay? And the copula is easy. I have the copula, the past or past. Copula never have a continuous. It's not a present, but it's not a verb. Continuous does not exist because of the fact that the continuous tenses are not just simply not a thing. Because Okigami languages and dialects often use the or present tense to describe the present continuous tense, and the past is described in past continuous tense. For how this is handled for Okinawa, there is a continuous present continuous. However, this specific one is no continuous. I apologize. I'm gonna repeat this again, but I apologize. I cannot cover every single dialect. That's gonna take too much time for this course, and that's beyond the scope of the course. But would suggest if you're very interested in a specific dialect or language, even if the resources is not uh in English or whatever language, I do suggest you still look into it. Maybe have someone else help out along the way. Or I could help out maybe at that time. Anyways, now that you've gone through every single one of these, I'm gonna randomly choose one, and then I'm gonna give you I want to say 5 seconds, but I'm not sure if you guys will think of it that quickly. So I'm gonna give you say 7 seconds, roughly 7 seconds. It's gonna be in my head, so it's probably just gonna be a little more random. But so that I'm just gonna pick some random one on my laser point off, and I'm gonna say one in your task right now in class. I know this is virtually, and I think you're probably just gonna text in a live chat or whatever. Is you're gonna say it in if you're watching this on YouTube, this one I'm planning to premiere it. So if you want to do it in the live chat, I highly recommend you to engage in chat plus maybe in the comments below to see how well you did. Okay? All right. Without further ado, let's get started. Let's start easy. Nunotan. 5, 6, 7. So that was because the answer is drink under the present past continuous. It it basically means was uh, was already drinking. Okay, that's basically the rough English translation I can think of. And yeah, we'll do a couple more. Don't get discouraged. It's not easy. So, all right. Atan. 5, 6, 7. Okay, so atan was basically the past inanimate copula, which was for an inanimate object. It's just basically was was there or was existed kind of thing. Okay, cool, cool. We'll do maybe I don't know. We'll do like maybe 5 more, and then I'll finish up class. Okay. Okay. Hmm. Let me think about this real quick. Um, Achitan. Okay, that was probably more than 7 seconds. So basically, that was the immediate past of verb to open. So that's why it's gonna be was just opening. So I was just opening a door, for example. Anyways, so 4 more. Okay. Itan. Okay, that was 7 seconds. That was basically the immediate past of the copula. So that is just the basically means was just was just there or kind of thing for any animate object. Okay. Okay, for the last 3, I'm gonna switch it up to. I don't have a blank slide, but I'll switch to homework slide. You guys can read it while you're thinking as well. But I'm gonna switch over to the slide over, and I want you to guess which one I said. As soon I'm gonna switch once I thought of it, I'll switch to the slide and then I'll say it, and then I'll switch back so that you guys can understand. Okay. All right. Ready? Okay. Nunan. Okay, if you said drink, you are correct because that is basically to drink past tense. It's in past technically, so it just means drink. Congra- Congrats. Okay, next one. Achon. 7. Okay, now that that's 7 seconds, I will go back. If you answered that it was the past, the present continuous with the verb to open, and end up getting something a rough translation like is opening, then you are correct. Okay, last one. Nunutang. Okay, So basically, drinking immediately. So was just drinking, or I was just solid drinking kind of thing. Yeah, that's about it. You probably got all correct. Congratulations. And yeah, now that that's done, I'll move on to the homework. You've probably already seen this multiple times since I was stopping at the very end. But basically, it's to create your own diagram graphic, similar, which is basically the exact same assignment as last time, except this time it's to better help remember the past and past continuous cases. And since it was a little over a minute early, I'm gonna try to finish up right now for this one to be less than 20 minutes. Your quiz is going to be a short answer. It's just going to be able to write the past and continuous, same number of questions. The times two this time will be around would be for past and past continuous, not between two languages. So it's just going to be English plus Kunigami root, and then the conjugation.